Hey folks. Okay. So I have gotten this question many times, and I have answered it on a couple of different videos, but it's usually interspersed with other information in those videos. So the question is, how do you approach a horse that you don't know, and how do you make friends with that horse? Well, that is not a one-fold answer, unfortunately. I mean, horses are animals. They have their own mind. They have their own preferences. They have their own ideas. They have their own fears, as well as, you know, some of them have past trauma. You know, some are shy, some are bold, some are, I mean, there's no way that I could just answer a one-size-fits-all. I can't give you one answer for that question, in other words, because it always boils down to, it depends on the horse, okay? I'm standing here with Blue. He is our Blue Roan Stallion, and for those of you that are going to argue me and say he's not a Blue Roan Stallion because he has a tiny touch of, you know, brown on his face, please don't bother. He is a Blue Roan Stallion. Believe it or not, Blue Roans can have brown on them. But he's got the black legs. His undercoat is all black. So there's that. He is not a bay roan. He is a blue roan. All right. With that out of the way, let's talk about how to approach a horse. Okay. So you can see here that Blue is standing in the corner. I am in his stall with him. He is tired right now and he's kind of napping. I have known Blue for over 10 years, so this is not going to be a great video on how to approach a horse that I don't know, because obviously I know him, and he knows me. I'm in here with him every single day, but right now he is resting. So what I always suggest when you're getting to know a horse is, again, it depends on the horse. So if you are trying to make friends with a horse who you feel is curious and friendly, that's a totally different answer than if you're trying to approach a horse who is pinning their ears at you, who is very standoffish, you know, and who is showing possibly aggressive behavior. Blue is doing none of that. Blue is simply resting right now. But I always say, before you try to approach any horse, you need to learn horses' body language. So, you know, Google it. I've even got it here on my channel. Like, learn what the positioning of their ears means. Okay. That is a number one tell. Horses' ears can tell you a tremendous amount of information. Right now, Blue's ears are forward. They are up and in the forward position. Okay. They are not pinned against the back of his head. Now, he just twirled them a little bit because he's listening to something behind him, but he is quite relaxed. He is not pinning his ears. Okay, now he's giving me a little bit of attention here. Let's see what he's going to do. Oh, I think he's just got an itch, actually. I'm going to help him out. Come here, my boy. Let me help you, old man. Let me help you, old man. Blue is 25 years old. So I'm going to scratch that spot for him to help him out, because as we know, when we all get older, it's a lot harder for us to reach certain parts of our body. So I'm just going to scratch him right there. But back to the video. Okay, back to the topic at hand. If you are approaching any horse, first and foremost, learn their body language. Understand what their ear positions mean. Understand what their eyes, are telling you. If you are feeling gentle energy off of a horse and curious energy, if their ears are forward and if they're curious about you, then it is safe in most instances. Now, don't, quote me on this, because I don't see y'all's horses. I don't know if you're reading their body language correctly, but generally the first thing I recommend is that you greet them through a fence or through some type of a barrier, okay? Because if you're in with a horse, if you're in their pasture, and you're wide open with them, you can get hurt. If that horse whirls to kick, you can be in their way. If they lunge at you and with their teeth gnashing and trying to bite you, you can get bit. And trust me, they can move extremely quickly when they want to. So I always recommend that you have a barrier first, and then, hang on one second. Okay, I apologize for that. Someone walked into the barn and needed some help with something. But anyway, what I was saying is, you always have a barrier first so that when you meet that horse, you can get away safely if needed, okay? And then what I recommend first and foremost is the horse handshake. which Blue is now focused on eating because I just dumped some hay for him. So let me see if I can demonstrate this horse handshake on another horse. Hang on just 1 second here. Okay, so we're coming down to the barn, and this is Izzy. And if I wanted to do a horse handshake with Izzy, I would make a fist, okay? Keep my thumb tucked under, and I would go like this. And I would let Izzy sniff my hand, okay? The reason I am not putting my fingers out for Izzy or going like this is because fingers can very easily be bitten and very quickly be bitten, okay? So if you start with the horse handshake, they sniff you, they get an idea for who you are, and then if they allow you to, and in fact, I'm going to do this with Tacoma here because Tacoma is known to not be particularly fond of people. Come here, Tacoma. So see, this is a great example because I'm trying to get her attention. There we go. Horse handshake. Hi, sweetheart. Okay. So she gave a sniff, but you can see her eye is very wary. Her ears are kind of like back a bit. She has a concerned eye. I don't know if you all can see that or not, but see that wariness in her eye as opposed to, let me show you, her eye is very soft. Izzy's eye is super soft because like Izzy doesn't have any concerns right now other than she wants me to give her a treat. But Tacoma's eye, see how her body language is standoffish? Her head is that way. She's not looking at me. She's not making eye contact, but she's definitely watching me with that eye. And that eye, well, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. But again, she sniffs and she turns away. It's like she doesn't want anything to do with my hand or anything like that. So with a horse like this, you really have to make a decision, okay? Excuse me. It's very dusty today. You don't want to force yourself on any horse, okay? It could turn into a very dangerous situation very quickly. So if I come into this stall with her right now, see, her butt is to me. So I have to be super careful with this because I can get cut. I mean, I'm sorry, I can get kicked. I saw her leg and I thought maybe she had a cut on it, but let me go look at that real quick, actually. Tacoma is in this particular stall, in this particular lot, because it's a dry lot, and she is very overweight. But see how she's running from me right now? This is what Tacoma does. She does not really care for people. Tacoma, come here, sweetheart. So I'm just going to kind of coax her a little bit. I'm asking her to come to me. I am not chasing this horse. Okay, so horse handshake. But see, she does not want me to pet her. I mean, I can tell you that right now. Her ears are kind of back. See how they're in that back position? They're not pinned. If they were pinned flat against her, they would be really up against her. But she is concerned. She's wary. She doesn't quite know that her eyes are very concerned. And that is what I want to teach you all to look for. You see that concern in her face? Like, they're very expressive. If you watch their eyes and their ears, you can tell that this horse right now is not comfortable. She has a worried, concerned look. So, you know, I'm not going to push anything with her right now because it just makes her very uncomfortable, and I don't want her to be uncomfortable. The only thing I might try to do, if she allows me to, is just rub her neck real quick. Okay, and I'm just letting her know everything's okay. But watch that body language. You see those ears and you see that eye? She is still quite worried. She is not relaxed. She's not calm. Okay, now that was a big sigh, so that was actually a good release right there. But, you know, I just want to let her know that she's okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just gently stroking along her neckline here. And this is a whole nother video, but we turned them out on spring grass, and Tacoma is on the verge of something called founder or laminitis with this big neck. I'm going to film a separate video about that in a minute. But right now, I just want to Have her relax. There, she turned into me a little bit, so I'm gonna release. I pulled my hand off of her, but even her lips, if you watch, and I'm sorry for how windy it is. I'm gonna try and hide from the wind. But see how her lips are kind of like, they're tight, they're not relaxed. It's almost like they're pursed a little bit. That's a great sign that a horse is nervous, okay? And they're not necessarily comfortable with the situation. She's not like furiously upset or anything, but she's concerned, okay? And these are all things that we have to be aware of. That tight lip, the concerned eye, it's kind of wide and it's like, oh, deer in a headlights look. The ear is at a position where it's not pinned. If it were pinned, it'd be flat against her head, but it is back, and that is, that's kind of like a warning, like, hey, what are you doing? I'm paying attention to you. And her head is turned away from me. So I'm not going to force this on Tacoma anymore, but when you are trying to make friends with a horse, you have to go in baby steps, especially a horse like this, okay? You can't just walk in on them and force yourself on. Well, you can, but I don't recommend it. And since this is my video, I'm going to say what I want to say. I would never attempt to force myself on this horse. What I would do with her is I would put a halter on her. I would put her in the other side of the barn, and I would start brushing her. That is how I would develop a relationship with this horse, okay? And I would do it very gently, and I would do it very slowly. And I wouldn't do anything with her other than brush her. I wouldn't ask to ride her. I wouldn't try to put a saddle on her. I would just let her know that my hands mean something nice to her, okay? And the sooner they learn that, then the sooner you develop trust with them. So if you are trying to befriend a horse and they are being standoffish like this, then you need to understand that this is not this is not an overnight fix, okay? And some people are going to say give them treats. I don't agree with that. I have seen way too many horses get aggressive around treats. So if I were to come out here with an apple or something, she might really want the apple and she might really eat the apple, but then, it can also turn into aggressive behavior, and you're not really forming a true bond with them because they're coming to you simply because of the apple. They're not coming to you because, hey, I want to hang out with you. I think you're a pretty cool person. I have not worked with this horse. I do know that even the people who own her have a hard time like getting her when she's out in the field. It's difficult for them. So obviously I'm not her, I'm not her person. But those of you who follow my videos know that all the horses in my pasture, not this side of the farm, but on my side of the farm, they all walk up to me willingly. I have no problem with them. So, and I could get to that point with Tacoma if I worked with her enough, but she's fine. I mean, she's not my horse. And even here, look, she just stepped in. She stepped in a tiny bit closer to me. So that's a good sign. I like that. She took one step toward me. So that tells me that I've made a little bit of progress with her here today. And it's all about just gentle baby steps with these horses. But her body language is still, like if you look at the curvature of her body, her head is still pointed away from me, okay? That's a defensive position. Now, if I wanted her head to come in, there, good girl, Tacoma. What a nice girl you are. What a pretty, pretty girl you are. And that's another thing, folks, your words and your energy behind the words can calm these horses faster than you would believe. I use a lot of praise with my horses. Good girl, good boy, pretty girl, handsome boy, and I'm telling you, they really do. Maybe they don't understand the words, but they understand the intention behind those words, okay? So her eye is softening a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but the eye is there. She just took a step toward me. Good girl. What a good girl you are. Do you know how brave you are for doing that? Yeah. You're so smart. Oh, smart. Oh, we got a lip wiggle. That was awesome. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Oh, she just turned in a tiny bit. I don't know if you all saw that. That's a good girl. You see that quivering lip? That is a much more relaxed lip than what we started with. Okay, so we've made progress just in these few minutes with Tacoma. That's such a good girl. She responds very well to that. See? When I tell her she's a good girl, watch. That's such a good girl. Oh, such a good girl. See how soft the eye is now? Much softer than when we started. Good girl. Oh, we got lip wiggles and all kinds of good stuff. All kinds of good stuff. Yes, we did. Look at that. What a brave girl you are. You know, I think you're a very pretty girl. Yes, I do. I think that Coma is a very pretty girl. She's a very pretty girl. Yeah, very pretty girl. Good girl. And that's all I'm going to do with her today. I'm going to back off from her, and I'm just going to let her soak on that, okay? I'm going to let her realize that that was our energy exchange, and actually it was pretty pleasant for her. You know, she's hip shot, she's relaxed. Even though she still is turned a little bit away, she's no longer like trying to get away from me. Can I get one more? Coma? Thank you, darling girl. All right. And we got a lick and a chew. Great. Okay. So, those are just some things, folks, that I hope help you when you want to greet a horse and you want to have that horse like you. You know, just remember that it is definitely not a sprint. It is a marathon. And it really just always depends on the horse. So, hope that helps.